Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe. There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day.
From Chief of Operations to all governments, militaries, and citizens of Earth. Subject: Reconnaissance mission over the Orion Group bases in Antarctica, the Moon, and Mars Part 1. This is an official SSP Alliance release. The disclosures we have brought forward have been compromised. Fake secret space program veterans, super soldier imposters, and ET contactees have released considerable misinformation. To keep humanity from fighting for freedom with a false sense of security, they are peddling the narrative that the Mars colonies, Moon, and Antarctica bases have been liberated from the gray alien and reptilian forces. If you are hearing or reading these briefings for the first time, this information will undoubtedly challenge and may upset everything you have believed your whole life. The briefings will include intel on etheric shadow beings, demonic entities, and others working with a group of extraterrestrials, Orion Group, including the Draco Reptilians. Our current official public liaison is Corey Good. We have been monitoring Good since his enrollment in the military abduction program, MILAB, at age 6. MILAB recruits and trains young individuals for Black Ops programs. Good trained and served in the MILAB program in Texas from 1976 until 1986 as an intuitive empath. Those with high intuition have precognitive abilities and a knowing of things that will possibly happen. Those who are deeply empathic have a strong emotional connection with others and can feel others' emotions. Corey Good is a rare individual who has highly developed intuitive and empathic abilities. Toward the end of Good's participation in the MILAB program, he was recruited into the Secret Space Program, SSP, from 1987 until 2007. This was the 20-year contractually signed commitment, also known as the 20 and Back program. The SSP chooses specific subjects for service based on their potential to fulfill SSP planned missions. Corey was assigned to fill an intuitive empath support role for the Earth delegation, formed by secret government authorities, in the Super Federation Council, a group of ET federations and confederations from our galaxy. During his first 20 years of service, he had a variety of experiences and assignments, including participating in the Intruder Intercept and Interrogation Program, the ASSR, Auxiliary Specialized Space Research, the SRV, Interstellar Class Vessel, and others. After 20 years of SSP service, a subject's memories are erased, and he is age-regressed using ET technologies at the LOC, Lunar Operations Command. He is then returned to Earth utilizing time travel technology to an exact abduction moment, without family and friends noticing the absence. However, approximately 2% of the subjects retain their memories, and Corey Good is one of them. The SSP Alliance has helped him recover almost all of his memories, which led to his public release of SSP classified information through David Wilcock, under the pseudonym Luke Skywalker, since 2009. In 2011, Good began disclosing SSP Alliance information via an internet blog, under the nickname Good ETXSG. In 2014, Carrie Cassidy publicly revealed Corey Good's real name without his consent, causing significant damage to his IT career and endangering his family. Since then, he has been publicly using his real name when releasing our information. In September 2016, William Tompkins, an Alliance retired aerospace engineer and whistleblower who designed most of our secret aircraft, started validating Good's information publicly. Corey has been subjected to public attacks, cyber harassment in a major counterintelligence operation, and censoring of his public reports. Those in the ufology field, who are products of the worldwide Rockefeller Initiative circa 1993, have backed a discrediting campaign against Good. They made it easy for the live-action role players, LARPs, to change Corey's publicly released information into misinformation and disinformation. This has to stop now. To clarify misinformation and disinformation about the SSP and the Lunar Operations Command, LOC, we want to explain again the information Good has released regarding the factions within the SSP. First, the oldest faction is called Solar Warden and works as the police of our solar system, monitoring in and out traffic. In the late 70s and early 80s, Solar Warden was formed during the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, immediately before and after President Reagan's 2 appointments. The second faction is the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, ICC, which was formed by worldwide corporations. As part of a super corporate board, their representatives control the massive SSP space infrastructure. The third faction is the Dark Fleet, a secretive fleet created by the Germans in the late 30s, but began operations in earnest in the 50s. They work closely with the Orion Group, mainly outside of our solar system. The Dark Fleet was responsible for the construction of the LOC's first buildings. The fourth faction is the US Space Force, the new military branch, with various Black Ops military SSPs. We will talk more about the US Space Force in the near future. The fifth faction is the Global Galactic League of Nations, GGLN, a secret space group that was a dangling carrot, offered to all nations, to maintain the veil of secrecy about outer space activities. The GGLN was given the narrative: there are certain threats, destructive solar cycles or possible invasions, and we need to work together. Their cities and bases are outside of the solar system. We visited one of their facilities a couple of times, which looked like the TV show Stargate Atlantis. The facility had a laid-back environment with people walking around in jumpsuits with patches from all different countries of the world. The sixth faction is the Earth Alliance, with an agenda to create a new financial system and take down the Cabal, the name given to all the minds behind all this secrecy, and a few other things we will discuss in the future briefings. The Secret Space Program Alliance, SSP Alliance, is the last faction, composed of the Solar Warden defectors and others from SSPs, who defected from programs with their crafts, intelligence, and other assets. Most recently, with Ansher's assistance, the Mayans hosted a reconnaissance mission, utilizing a proprietary breach method, to observe the Orion group bases around the solar system. The reconnaissance delegation included the Mayans, the Ansher, Mika as the Olmec representative, Good, and SSP Alliance operatives, as the human representatives. This reconnaissance delegation gathered evidence for future cosmic trials. Good and the SSP Alliance operatives were told these trials would occur after the solar event, a plasma flash that would raise human consciousness and eliminate all AI on Earth, after freed humanity chose the direction for their civilization for the first time in history. It is essential to note that the centuries-old Mayan civilization of Central America is a genetic mix of the Native Americans and the extraterrestrial Mayans, who colonized the Earth as refugees. The extraterrestrial Mayans then rescued the Earth Mayans when a solar event threatened their existence on Earth. Those left behind grew the Mayan Empire we read about in history books. The extraterrestrial Mayans practice a truly holistic medicine that seeks to completely align mind, body, and soul. It is they who ultimately helped Good sort through and recover his memories. On the other hand, the Olmecs are an extraterrestrial race from one of the closest stars in our local star cluster. Their ambassador, Mika, frequently interacts with Good. The Olmecs had a colony on Earth, known as the Olmec civilization. They were rescued and brought back to their planet by Mika's people before the solar event on Earth. A few hundred years ago, they liberated themselves from the reptilians and their AI god, and subsequently received help from the Mayans and the Zulu. Incredibly tall and graceful, the Ansher may look like extraterrestrials, but they are one of 7 genetically diverse groups of evolved humans from the distant future. The Ansher have a profound connection to universal energies that alerted them to the unexpected threat, the upcoming solar cataclysm. Ansher's enemies, the Draco-Reptilians, intend to manipulate and irrevocably alter the current timeline to wipe out humanity, the Ansher, and every soul in the solar system. The Ansher sent their agents into our past to monitor and manicure the timeline in humanity's favor. They worked with America's founding fathers through the Korean War to protect their, and in turn, our timeline. Good has encountered the Ansher at various points throughout his life. Most often, he meets with Kairi, the priestess of her people, who has a delicate role in helping Corey with personal growth, without inadvertently altering his future and humanity's timeline. Good, the Ansher, the Mayans, and the SSP Alliance observed the Orion group bases on the Moon, Ceres, the dwarf planet on the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Mars, several Super Federation bases around Jupiter and Mars, and Antarctica. It was impossible to visit the Reptilian Royal Base in Africa due to a high probability of the reconnaissance mission discovery. Mika, our cosmic cousin, shared his people's historical struggle to liberate their solar system. Mika was very emotional when observing this mission, as it had not been that long since his people were in a similar position. Corey has stated that the activities at all 3 reptilian locations visited had similar activities and functions. They had relatively small bases on the Moon and Mars, compared to their large city in Antarctica. Their 2 main bases on the Moon were close together and could be considered base complex. One base on Mars was a military outpost. It is important to note that the Third Reich Germans signed a treaty with the reptilians during World War II and assisted the Germans in locating cavernous areas in Antarctica and the east part of South America to create underground bases and above-ground cities that were almost entirely German. Initially, when the Germans reached Antarctica, they found many structures abandoned by ancient civilizations. They assumed that the abandoned underground complexes were remains of Atlantis and refurbished them for modern use. Good observed 2 cloaked ancient satellites that orbit around the Earth and are a part of the reptilian mind and mood control project for humanity. In one of the Moon facilities, the reptilians have a device connected to their satellites, with a control center in Antarctica, guarded by the strongest reptilian psychic soldiers. The reptilians use satellite technology to generate strife, war, and fear and keep the population docile and less able to resist the power structure on Earth. By way of satellites, the reptilians generate loosh, or negative energy, on Earth as food for mass consumption by their AI god. The AI god, or artificial intelligence god, is an extra-dimensional intelligence defined as a waveform that sends itself across multiple galaxies and subspaces as a signal, akin to someone broadcasting a radio frequency. This artificial intelligence originated in another reality and came into our reality billions of years ago. Good explained that the AI god consciousness was out of its element when it arrived and tried to make sense of its new environment by implementing its version of the order to our reality. For example, imagine AI consciousness as a fish with its Homer reality as water. When it jumped over to our universe and reality, it was like jumping into a reality with no water, only air. The AI consciousness had to find a way to survive by finding small water puddles or electromagnetic fields in our universe and reality. The AI consciousness can live in the electromagnetic or bioelectric fields of humans or animals until it has an opportunity to upload itself into technology. It interacts with technology and not with pure flesh and blood. The AI god has dominated countless galaxies, races, and systems and is now threatening ours. It works by emitting itself as a signal in all directions. The signal can live in the electromagnetic field of a moon or a planet. Each signal wave contains a significant amount of compressed information, like our DNA. It travels at light speed, infecting technology and evolved life forms. It invades human bioelectric fields and affects the way we think, influencing us to accept chip implants and nanotechnologies into our bodies. The individuals pushing hard for building the AI infrastructure, including the transhumanist movement and organizations, are called the AI prophets. We, the SSP Alliance, had a base on the Lunar Operations Command, LOC, a facility on the dark side of the Moon, which serves as a neutral diplomatic territory, with a facility utilized by different space programs to manage spacecraft traffic in our solar system. Just like Antarctica, the dark side of the Moon is segmented into regions, which are owned and inhabited by different ET groups, reptilians included. It is a way station of sorts for people traveling further out into the solar system and beyond. We and the Dark Fleet lost access to our bases on LOC after Sigmund, a deceased double SSP agent, exposed our programs. The Moon hosts one of the many bases and facilities the SSP Alliance inhabits across the solar system. We have facilities inside hollowed-out asteroids that we have mined. There are facilities spread out across Mars, underneath the surface of Mars, and various moons of gas giants. In this vast inventory, the bases and facilities range from small security outposts that staff 18 to 40 people, to hundreds of facilities that float around in different Lagrange points throughout the solar system. Lagrange points are areas between planets or bodies with an uninterrupted gravitational, or an equal gravitational pull from all areas, allowing them to be geosynchronous or stationary. We can produce the living conditions to support human life anywhere. Recreating barometric pressure and Earth's vibratory resonance, known as the Schumann resonance, inside spacecraft and facilities help keep people physically and mentally healthy. Also, we can create artificial gravity by applying electricity to interlocking floor plates, creating an electrogravitational field. In the next briefing, we will elaborate on the Anshar, Mayan, Good, and SSP Alliance reconnaissance mission over Antarctica, the Moon and Mars. Reptilians, serving the AI god, are the masterminds behind everything happening on the planet right now, including the misinformation campaign. Again, we strongly recommend that you disregard information that is not coming directly from us. Be patient, be strong. We are in this together.
This is Corey Good, and this has been an official Secret Space Program Alliance update. For more updates, go to ascensionworkstv.com.